Hello and welcome back to Explain USA. You know, when the President of the United States steps off a plane in a foreign country and gives that simple wave, it looks so routine, doesn't it? Almost easy. But what you're seeing is the final, tiny piece of one of the most complex, expensive, and mind-bogglingly secure operations on Earth. Today, we're going to pull back that curtain and show you exactly how it all works. And this is the core idea to grasp. The literal second the president steps off the White House grounds, everything changes. He transforms from being the head of state to being the single most protected individual in the world. And we're not just talking about a few extra bodyguards. It's a complete shift in reality where he's basically cocooned inside this moving fortress of intelligence, military might, and technology. So just to give you an idea of the sheer scale we're talking about, get this. The planning that goes into a single 15-minute walk for the president in a foreign city is often more complex than organizing the entire Olympic Games. Yeah, the Olympics, an event for millions of people. It's a staggering thought, and it really sets the stage for the kind of operational deep dive we're about to get into. So, where does a mission this massive even begin? Well, it doesn't start with a plane on a runway. Long before anyone packs a bag, the journey begins where all huge operations do, on paper. A presidential trip is born in a series of top-secret meetings and documents, usually about 4 to 5 months before the actual travel date. Here's how an idea actually turns into a full-blown mission. It starts with a high-level briefing with the president and his top advisors. If he gives the thumbs up, they draft something called a Presidential Decision Memo, the PDM. Once that's approved, a more detailed trip directive order goes out, and that's the signal for all the different government agencies to assemble their best people into what's called the Advance Survey Team. These are the folks who make it all happen. So with the plan officially in motion, the action shifts from Washington, D.C. to the host country. Weeks, sometimes even months, before the president is scheduled to arrive, this advance team lands on foreign soil, and their job is monumental. They have to build a perfectly secure American operational bubble, completely from scratch. And their to-do list is just exhaustive. I mean, they don't just pick a route. They analyze every possible path, and they have backups for their backups. They survey every inch of the airports, the hotels, the event venues. They work with local forces and use drones and laser mapping to create these incredibly detailed 3D models and risk reports for every single second of the planned visit. Nothing is left to chance. And when they're making these plans, their standards are absolute. These aren't just suggestions, they are non-negotiable. For instance, any route they use must be wide enough for the entire motorcade to pull a U-turn if needed. And there has to be a top-tier level 1 trauma hospital within a 20-minute drive. The airport runway has to be exactly the right size, down to the foot. If these conditions aren't met, the trip might not even happen. Okay, so the advanced team has the blueprint locked down. The next phase, it's time for the heavy lifting. Literally. Now they have to physically move all the necessary parts of the White House and its entire security system across the world. Before the president can go anywhere, his whole ecosystem has to be there waiting for him. And how does all that gear get there? On these absolute monsters. For every single trip, 2, 3, sometimes even more, C-17 Globemaster military cargo planes are sent ahead. These jets are really the logistical heart of the whole operation, carrying enough equipment to run a mobile command center. And what's packed inside these planes? Well, this is where it gets wild. You've got the president's personal limo, the Beast, plus an identical decoy. You have Marine One helicopters taken apart for the flight. You've got special vehicles that jam remote bomb signals, K9 units, mobile communication hubs, and a massive arsenal of weapons and tactical gear. An entire security force is just airlifted and dropped into place. All right, the stage is set. The security bubble is designed. All the hardware is in place. Now, let's get to the day of travel and see how this incredible symphony of security comes together. We're going to follow the president step by step as he starts his journey. So the trip usually begins right there on the south lawn of the White House. You'll see several identical helicopters waiting, all flown by the elite HMX-1 Nighthawk Squadron. The moment the president boards one of them, its call sign officially becomes Marine One. The others take off with it, acting as decoys. It's impossible for anyone on the ground to know which helicopter he's actually in. And as he walks to that helicopter, you will always see a military aide walking very close by, carrying this specific briefcase. It's known as the nuclear football. It contains everything the president needs, the codes, the strike options to authorize the use of America's nuclear arsenal. It's a constant, pretty sobering reminder that the full weight of the presidency travels with him everywhere he goes. From Marine One, he boards his next ride. And just like the helicopter, Air Force One is the call sign for whichever Air Force plane he's on. But this is no ordinary aircraft. It is a fly-in White House. It's a military command center with a presidential office, a medical bay that can function as an operating room, and electronics that are hardened to survive the electromagnetic pulse from a nuclear blast. So after landing in the host country, the president moves to his ground transport, the Beast. Honestly, calling this thing a car is an insult. It's a moving bunker on wheels. It weighs over 20,000 pounds, has 5-inch thick bulletproof glass, and it's completely sealed against chemical attacks, with its own supply of breathable air. It even carries a supply of the president's blood type, just in case. And the Beast never, ever drives alone. It's the crown jewel in the middle of a massive motorcade, which is basically a multi-layered shield on wheels. You've got scout cars way up ahead, police sweepers clearing the immediate path, a lead car, the Beast and its identical twin constantly switching places, a heavily armed counter-assault team ready for a fight, a jammer vehicle blocking remote signals, and the Roadrunner, a mobile communications hub that keeps the whole convoy connected to Washington. So the president has finally arrived at his hotel or an event. You might think, okay, he's inside, maybe things can relax a little bit. Nope. In fact, this is where some of the most intense and, frankly, unbelievable layers of security are deployed. Once he's on location, the president exists at the dead center of a security bubble that can stretch for miles. Think of it like a series of concentric rings. The outer layers are handled by the host country's police and special forces. But as you get closer to the center, you have to get through U.S. agents, then U.S. tactical teams, until you reach that final, innermost circle, the Secret Service Close Protection Detail, who literally form a human shield around him. And this is where the details sound like they're straight out of a spy thriller. The Secret Service will literally pop out the hotel windows and replace them with their own ballistic glass. They'll swap out TVs and phones to make sure there are no listening devices. In some countries, they've hired men to mimic the sounds of predator monkeys to scare away local primates. They even bring a special toilet, so the president's DNA can't be secretly collected from the sewer system. It's that detailed. So, the big question, what does all of this cost? Now, the White House never gives out official numbers, but a 2015 report estimated the price tag for a single day of a presidential visit to be around $200 million per day. That number alone just shows you the insane amount of resources dedicated to protecting this one person. And that brings us to our final question here. This unbelievable display is, without a doubt, all about protection. But is it also something more? What kind of message does an operation on this scale, a mobile fortress that can be set up anywhere on Earth, send to both our allies and our adversaries? Is it the ultimate act of security? Or is it the ultimate projection of American power? That's really something to think about. If you enjoy informative videos like this, you can subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.